Good morning. Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. My name is Kevin, and I'm here to talk about what I have on my mind. And most of this has to do with elevating your life, whether it be mindset related things and decision making in your day to day. If it has to do with nutritional tactics and keeping nutrition simple, healthy, and not boring, or fitness, how to move with purpose and how to put yourself in a position to see results and yield results in training that you enjoy. Today, I wanted to go into a topic that is simple to me, but might be complex to you. And that has to do with food. And when you apply this lesson, this principle to your day, the truth is that you're probably going to start to feel better. You're going to be more full. You're going to not want to eat as much crap. You're going to recover faster. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to have better workouts over the course of a period of time. And you may have guessed what we're going to talk about at this point if you have heard me talk about where to start with nutrition, but this is going to be new to some of you as well. And this topic is about protein. On a previous call, I spoke about how to calculate the amount of protein that you need, and I'll review that today. But I want to get more into the why. That people just tell you to have your protein, and they don't really talk about why that's important or how to get that done. So we're going to talk about all that today. So protein is a macromolecule, and a macromolecule is one of the three. So we have proteins, carbs, and fats. And with that, they all serve a purpose. Protein serves different purpose than carbs and fats do. Carbs and fats are more of the energy that our body needs to perform during the day. Carbohydrates being our body's primary choice for energy, meaning that it will digest and break that down first for energy, and fat is going to be more of a longer, slower digesting energy, which is really helpful in a lot of situations. We don't need that big spike of energy or that fast breakdown of energy that does a lot of different things in the body, but we'll save that for another time. Protein, however, if we were to say like, hey, have your protein, what are you going to relate that to first? Most people would say, muscle growth and building muscle, which is true, but it does more than that, right? So understand that when we talk about muscle is the organ for longevity of life. So it isn't just about performance or aesthetics, how you look or how you perform in the gym, but it's about how to live a healthier, and I like to lean on the more functional life. I want to be able to do things like sit down and stand up and use the bathroom and reach something on the top shelf, pick up my Amazon box in 30 years, right? So I don't want anybody to help me with those things. So the more muscle that I have, the longer I will be able to do that. Now, protein is going to help with more than that. It's going to help with keeping our immune system healthy. It's going to keep us satiated and full. It's going to help our brain function. Anything in our body will need protein to function at its optimal rate. Protein goes beyond just the muscles that you put on in the gym, but to live a healthier, more functional life, protein is going to be key in doing so. Protein is going to be there's going to be benefits as well when it comes to it being the most difficult macromolecule to digest, meaning that it takes longer to digest, hence why you'll be more full. The more protein that we do consume, the harder your body works to break that down. So just in eating more protein, your body's calorie burn rate, right, the total daily energy expenditure, is going to be higher, meaning you're going to burn more calories if you eat and consume more protein. Now, if you pair eating the proper amount of protein, I say proper amount because it's not just more, it's the right amount, build more muscle. And when you have more muscle, you're going to burn more calories naturally throughout the day because protein is always in the state of flux. We're either consuming it and breaking it down, or it's helping build muscle. So we're actually building and breaking down constantly, which is going to allow us to burn more calories throughout the day. Now, if you're on a weight loss journey or a fat loss journey or a performance journey or a muscle building journey, that's probably something that you want to be able to lean into a little bit more. So starting with the amount of protein that you consume and knowing how to get that in throughout the day is very important. Okay. So when it comes to protein, where do we get this protein in? We have different types of whole foods, and a lot of people will drink your protein shakes and get that. Sure, that's one of the options. But what we want to focus on first, we have meat, fish, poultry, non-fat dairy, supplements. Now, there are other things that you can consume to take in protein, especially if you're vegan, seitan, tofu, things like that. But we're going to focus on these main 5 areas because I'm not a vegan or vegetarian. So yes, you can consume those. And you'll probably have to lean more on a vegan protein powder or like First Form's Vegan Power Pro, which I find delicious. However, we'll get to that at another time. If you have more questions on vegan protein intake, you can comment below and I will either respond to your comment or make another video on it. So meat, anything that has 4 legs, really. Okay, so we have steak, we have pork, we have things like that. And fish, we have anything with no legs. So comes out of the sea. There's going to be another option. Poultry, anything with 2 legs. So turkey, chicken, turkey, etc. Non-fat dairy. And I say non-fat dairy because when you have a full fat dairy, you're going to have more carbs and fat in that dairy product, whether it be cottage cheese or yogurt, and that food becomes a different macromolecule. So whichever is the highest on the nutrition label is going to be what that food is, whether it be protein, carb, or fat. It could be close, it could be the same, then you're splitting hairs, but typically meat, fish, poultry, non-fat dairy, and supplements like First Form's Formula 1 or Level 1. The proteins that I use are going to be higher in protein and going to be digested and broken down as protein to be utilized as protein. Now you're saying, Kevin, what about kale has protein and almonds have protein and sourdough bread has protein? They do, but they're going to be utilized first as energy, and then whatever is there left over thereafter is just going to be used as protein at that point. So how do we understand which are available as protein? Just stick to this list. Meat, fish, poultry, non-fat dairy, and supplement is a great way to fill your plate. When you put this on your plate first and you measure this out, then you can get an accurate reading and intake of protein throughout the course of your day. Remember, the goal for protein is to have 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. I'm 224 pounds now. If I wanted to go down to 210, I'm having 210 grams of protein to keep it right. I could have a little bit more, I could have a little bit less, but to start, we'll keep it at that 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. Okay. Protein is best taken in when you have 25 to 35 grams at a time. Now, I say that loosely because the idea is like there have been studies that you can't digest a certain amount of protein at a time, but there have been other studies where you can digest hundreds of grams of protein at a time, and it's really person dependent. But why I break it up into 25 to 35 to 40, even for me, grams of protein at a time is because it's going to make you feel really full. And if you try and have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 grams of protein, it's going to be really hard to eat, and it's going to put you in a place where you're working on digesting that for a long period of time, or may affect how you consume food for the remainder of the day. When we say 25 to 30 grams, also because of this word called amino acid, you may have heard this before, and if you haven't, really like amino acids are the building blocks of protein, and every one of those I listed before, meat, fish, poultry, non-fat, dairy, and supplements, ideally, and I say ideally because I can't speak for all supplements out there. I know First Form does a really good job with this. Have a complete amino acid profile, meaning that it has essential and non-essential amino acids, which allow your body to stay in what's called an anabolic state. A what state? I'll put you on a scale over here. So I'm going to draw a line. Okay. An anabolic will be on the top and catabolic will be on the bottom. So we have anabolic and catabolic. So when you eat a meal, we go into digestion. And when we go into digestion, you're not going to go this big spike. It's going to gradually begin to digest, right? We're going to go up. So as soon as we go up, eventually you're going to be able to digest that food and your body stays in this muscle building state. While we're in this muscle building state, you're eventually going to, let's say, not have to digest that anymore. It's going to be done. And the goal is to stay above this line for the length of the day. So at this point, this is going to be about 3 to 4 hours right here. And then as we get over to this side if we go below the line, we go into this catabolic state. And catabolic state means muscular breakdown, where your body is going to try and use your muscle as energy to continue throughout the course of the day. So around that 3 to 4 hour mark, and this is why people say every 3 to 4 hours, because ideally, like, you're keeping your body in this muscle building state so you can burn more calories and see better results in aesthetics and performance. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just painting a picture here. And we want to have another meal and go back into this state. So we can go into this anabolic state and we get hungry again, and we just want to stay above that line until we go to bed, and then we can do it again. So if everything above here means that we're building muscle, and I'm just drawing a picture that makes sense. It's probably not as up and down. It's a little bit more horizontal, but you'll get the point. And when we have that full amino acid profile, or that 25 to 35 grams of protein of meat, fish, poultry, non-fat, dairy, and supplements, what's going to happen is that our body's going to be more full. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be more cognitively sound. You're going to build more muscle. You're not going to break down your muscle. You're not going to crash. You're not going to have these cravings throughout the day. So we can be in this anabolic state for a longer period of time. We have that 4 to 5 to 6 times throughout the course of the day, depending on how big your size of protein is, and depending on how many calories you need, and depending on how many meals that you have. The idea is that you're going to feel better over time. Reason when we wake up, we want to have a big breakfast in the morning is we're not eating for 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe more hours at night. And we go into this catabolic state. Quite literally, that's what happens. We go into this place where our body will need food to prime itself to start the next day again. So that's why never skip breakfast. It's an important meal of the day. It doesn't have to be a big one, but get some protein in your body. I'm not a huge fan of protein coffee, but if that's what your option is, it's a great place to start. But you can easily have some non-fat Greek yogurt. You can cook up some eggs in 2 minutes. Egg whites are probably even better because it doesn't have the fat. Just some options to start your day. The last thing I want to talk about is the one time I actually ask people to not have a whole food, meat, fish, poultry, non-fat, dairy. And I do want you to have a supplement is after you work out. And the idea is because, remember I said, digesting a meal takes 3 to 4 hours. And after a workout, the best thing that we can do is focus on speed. You might take your time in training and you're using tempo and you're lifting heavy and you're going slower. Like, we do want to recover as quickly as possible to get back into that anabolic state. Because if you're breaking down your muscles and you're expending your energy during your training, what we want to do is make sure that we have the ability to jump back into that anabolic state, because we're purposely putting ourselves in a catabolic state. Think about it like this. When you work out, you're withdrawing this anabolism, this anabolic state from your body, and we want to deposit back into that as soon as we can so we can get back to business and feeling good throughout the course of the day. So I recommend a whey protein isolate, a hydrolyzed isolate, which means that it's going to, in simplest terms, break down faster, be digested more quickly, and it's not going to take a long time in the digestion process. So the only time I want you to focus on having a supplement is after you have an intense training session, not going for a walk, not doing a light lift, maybe not even doing like a slow jog, but when you're lifting weights and you're getting your heart rate up and you feel like you expended the energy that you've had, that is when I want you to focus on having 20 to 40 grams of protein in a supplement form that digests quickly. I particularly using First Form's Formula 1 because, one, I've been having it for almost the last 10 years and it's treated me well and I feel really good and I have no protein gas or I have no protein belly where I feel all bloated. It digests super quickly and I'm able to recover right away. So that will digest in about 30 minutes compared to 3 hours, which will allow me to have another meal to sustain that anabolic state shortly after, about an hour or so after I have that shake, versus just having that meal and it digesting slowly and not recovering right away, like not healing my muscles, not replenishing my energy levels. I do mix this with a carbohydrate supplement. I know I'm not talking about carbohydrates today, but carbs are very important post-workout. And we'll bring that up at another time. So make sure you subscribe and come back so you can check in on the nutrition talks if you're enjoying that. So let me review. There's a couple things I want you to understand. I'll write it down here as well. So one, we want to have 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That would be the ideal place to start. And number 2 is we get protein from meat, fish, poultry, non-fat, dairy, and supplements. whole foods are going to be key. If you're vegan, remember there are other options out there, but if you're not, you're in the same club as me. So steak, chicken, fish, eggs, non-fat Greek yogurt, protein shake, totally appropriate. We want to get those in 25 to 35 plus grams a serving, because that's going to give us this full amino acid profile, which keeps us in this anabolic state, which allows us to be in a muscle building state, not breaking down our muscles that we're trying to build, because muscle is the organ of longevity, and longevity helps with more than just muscle growth, aesthetics, and performance. It's going to help with cognitive function, gut health, immune system, and everything else I just went over. This wanted to break down protein a little bit more for you today. Probably something that you have not heard so simply before. And I want you to know that it is quite simple. And to make this even more simple for you, what you can do is click the link below and join me on the First Form app, because once you join the First Form app, you're going to be able to track your food and have direct communication with me, so I can help you take those next steps towards your goals. Because this is a great step one, but if you have any questions, join me on the app, send me a message. I will send you a message personally in return, and I will help you take those next steps on your journey. So if this helped you, leave a comment below. That would be really great, because I can see if you're actually paying attention to this. If not, put something that you want to know so I can help with that if I'm able to. But as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining in for about 20 minutes today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with these new videos coming out every single weekday. And I look forward to chatting with you more on these things real soon. Have a great one. See ya.